siempre. Sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, al que está sentado, al que está sentado, a ti Jesús.
I lived in Kona. I was a Polynesian dancer. That's how I met Noni, and we were good friends, great friends for a few years. And one day that friendship grew into feelings, and we started to have a relationship, but it wasn't too accepted by everybody, so we kind of kept it undercover, and that went on for a couple years. And even when I moved back here to Oahu.
All communication had to just, completely stop because of, my parents. They didn't, agree with everything, so.
I became pregnant, and we weren't married, and he was still living in the Big Island.
When Malia got pregnant, well, of course, both families were upset, especially Noni's family. And they looked for the blessing from the dad, but it was an extremely rough time.
All that time that I was pregnant, every day was a struggle to get out of bed, to get through the day.
I think the reality that she was about to have a baby was so, real, and she'd be a single mother.
Deep down, I just felt so alone. And it was as if I was standing still and the whole world was moving around me, and it was just one big blur. I would spend so many nights just crying, wishing that I could go to sleep, but I couldn't.
That she felt so lonely, and it was so tough. If it weren't for baby, that she would take her own life. That was so tough to hear.
I remember this one service, after worship, Pastor Elwin came out, and he said, I know that this is for someone.
God says, don't live a life of regret. I know the end from the beginning. There is a plan. There is a future and a hope for you. Don't give up. Don't give up. I just thought somebody in this auditorium might want to hear that word today.
It had been the scripture that I had just read for myself. And it was Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to hurt you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. And I've always heard that through my life, but at that moment, I knew that it was for me. And I remember turning to my mom and just almost losing my whole balance, just falling on her into her arms. Because I knew that God had been hearing me. He'd been hearing my cries at night.
That was pivotal, that she knew that she wasn't alone, and that she could hold on to that scripture.
I knew that God had answered me, and he said, I'm here. I've been here. Even when you thought I wasn't, I was here. And from that moment on, the days were still hard, but I knew there was hope. And I chose hope for me, and I chose hope for my son. We got married in June 11th.
Justice, he's just, He's just hilarious. He's a joy. And I don't know, I couldn't be more happier, I think.
He came out as such a blessing, and he brings joy to whoever he comes in contact with.
God really turns. He does. He does. He'll take something broken, somebody lonely, and make something beautiful.
I had to come to the realization that I wasn't alone and that God, he had been there the whole time through everything, even if I couldn't feel him, you know, but he had been there every step of the way. And it wasn't until I realized that, and it wasn't until I declared that he is here, I'm not alone, that's when God just started changing my life. And I had to stop controlling the situation and just say, you know what, God, I'm so alone, I'm so lonely, but I know that you have a future for me. I know that even though I can't see it, you have a hope for me, and that I'm just going to trust that in your timing it's going to come. And it did.
As I lay me down, heaven hear me now. I'm lost without a cause, after giving it my all. Winter storms have come and darkened my sun. After all that I've been through, who on earth can I